How's it going? And welcome back to the Marvel Snap video here on YouTube. We've got some more cards that have appeared in the game files via a data mine. They are not currently available in the client and will likely be releasing at some point in the future. Asterisk before we look into these that obviously these could potentially not be final releases, and some of the exact details on these designs could change before they officially release into the client. That being said, there's some more fun designs in here, so let's take a look at 8 new cards that could potentially be coming to Marvel Snap in the not too distant future here. So to start with, we have one that I think I'm most excited about because it fits really eloquently into the Beast Falcon deck I've been playing that says 2 mana, 0 power to start. On reveal, gets 3 power for each other card you played this turn. So, kind of the big play on this at the baseline is if you play this with 4 1 mana cards on turn 6, you could get 12 power for 2 mana along with everything else that you have going on. However, with Beast bouncing things and making them free, you could easily get this past 12 power on turns, 4 or 5 when you play out a bunch of previously 1 cost cards for just 0 resources. See a lot of potential as a build around for this one, especially alongside Beast and Falcon. Up next, we have Modok here. So 5 mana, 8 power. On reveal, discard your hand. This is kind of a weird one. Obviously, it guarantees makes your apocalypse bigger, but it's also kind of clunky if you're trying to use Hela as your payoff of choice. It also makes things kind of not clean with Ghost Rider on what you're bringing back. If Apocalypse ends up being kind of the discard payoff of choice, I could see this being good. However, the rate of 8 power for 5 mana is only okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one, as statted, isn't particularly good. Up next, we have Master Mold here. 3 mana, 3 power. On reveal, add 3 Sentinels to your opponent's hand. And Sentinel, for those not familiar, is that 2 mana, 3 power card that adds a copy to your hand when you play it out. So normally very good to have 1 copy of this effect. However, remember how many cards are in your hand in Marvel Snap is a resource you have to manage, and your opponent getting 3 2 mana cards that they're unable to play out of their hand for the remainder of the game is actually kind of obnoxious, especially when, when their hand hits 7 cards, they can't draw anymore. So this is a really interesting disruptive card that could impact things, like Moon Girl or others that are overfilling your hand, typically getting gummed up with Sentinels. Miss Marvel here is an interesting design. So ongoing, if this is your only card here, adjacent locations have +5 power. So if you play her in your center path, either adjacent paths on the side get +5 power. So in theory, this is a card that adds 14 power to your board for just 3 resources, which is an incredible rate compared to most things in this game. This has some synergy with cards like Hullbreaker as well as Green Goblin and Hobgoblin that flip over to your opponent's side of the board. So you could even try and win her path while still keeping her ongoing ability going. This card has really neat build around stipulations to it. It's definitely one that I would be interested to build some decks with. We have Miles Morales Spider-Man here. 2 mana, 4 power. On reveal, pull all 1-cost cards from your opponent's hand to their side of this location. So, this card has a neat disruptive element to it. Filling your opponent's location ahead of time means that you're going to know how much total power they have there and how much you need to commit to win in a lot of situations. And the rate here, 4 power for just 2 resources, is pretty good. And when you mix in a little bit of a disruptive element, I would wager this card's probably pretty playable in a few different shells. Up next, we have Shauna. Whenever you discard a card from your hand, move this to a random location. I have to envision this being kind of mediocre. The rate for what you're getting for the mana cost is kind of low, and the ability of moving to a random location could be a downside just as much as an upside in some spots when you factor in things like locations that give negative power or the bar with no name. So this one, as stated, I don't really expect a lot from, I don't think. Up next, we have the Super Scroll. Ongoing has the ongoing effect of all enemy cards. This is kind of a metagame card. If Iron Man and Devil Dino are still popular and powerful, this card has a lot of potential. Even just Devil Dino, right? This comes down, you have 3 or 4 cards in your hand. It's going to have 12 power or whatever for just 6 mana. And remember, our kind of baseline for 6 mana cards is somewhere in the 11 to 14 power range. So if a card like this can regularly break 10 power, it's probably reasonable to see play. But if there aren't a lot of ongoing things seeing play, this obviously is less good in the format. Finally, we have here the Phoenix Force. On reveal, revive one of your destroyed cards with +5 power if it's Jean Grey +10 power. So at the base level, this is a minimum of 8 power for 6 resources. If you combo with Jean Grey, another unreleased card we covered last time, this is a 3/3 that makes your opponent's cards must be played if possible. So that's not relevant on the last turn when you Phoenix Force it back. But if you bring back Jean Grey, this is 3 + 3 + 10, so 16 power for the Phoenix Force. When you bring back something that's not Jean Grey, figure 3 or 4 power, this card's still going to be providing 11 power for 6. So if you have a deck where destroying your own things that you want to bring back is something you're doing on the regular, I could see this being a reasonable rate, because again, that kind of baseline for a 6 mana card is, can we get 10 plus power out of 6 mana? And I think in a lot of situations this is going to do that. The question is just going to be, are you incidentally destroying your own stuff to get this effect enabled? What do you think of these cards? Which ones do you think are sweet? Like I mentioned at the start, I think Hitmonkey is the one I'm most looking forward to, because it slots really eloquently into that Beast Falcon deck I've been playing a bunch. But if I had to pick a number 2, I think Miss Marvel is definitely the one I'm looking forward to playing the most. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you thought were sweet. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I post a few Marvel Snap videos here per week, and I'd love to have you stop by again sometime. Thanks for watching as always. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks.